Let's start with the jobs report and just start there because we've got a lot of work to do here. Your thoughts on what we saw about an hour ago?
Generally a strong jobs report. I liked it. It means that the labor market is not going to be the cause of a recession or significant slowdown. I just wish labor participation had gone up. It didn't. It came down, and that remains a major concern.
What are your thoughts about that, Mohamed, and why is that a major concern as far as you're concerned as we start to think about the inflation picture a little bit more?
Because right now we're dealing with supply-side issues, and the labor market is part of the supply-side issue. What we don't want to deal with is both supply-side and demand-side issues. And the longer we have supply-side problems, the greater the risk that we're going to pull down demand. And then we have both supply and demand problems. So that's why I'm hoping that we are going to be able to relieve some of the supply pressures, because otherwise they will in fact pull down demand. And how? Inflation. So that's why it's really important to continuously ask yourself the question, are supply side issues really getting better at a fast rate? And they're not, unfortunately.
Are you concerned that the situation that the Bank of England is confronting right now is in the Federal Reserve's future?
I am, and I must commend the Bank of England. I wrote yesterday on Twitter, I wish other central bankers were as honest and as balanced as Andrew Bailey was. Yes, he talks about a very narrow path. He shares the risks. He talks about the possibility of 10% inflation. He talks about the possibility of recession. And I think it's critical for central bank, independent central bank, to put out their best judgment that are not politically influenced. And I think the Bank of England is leading the way on this.
If I may, are you implying there's something the Federal Reserve is not being open or honest enough about?
Yeah, I worry that the Federal Reserve has tried to be too nice to markets, be it the transitory inflation narrative that lasted way too long, be it what happened on Wednesday. You know, you cannot come on TV and speak about all the uncertainties and then rule out a certain policy response, 75 basis points, and then give specificity to the neutral rate, 2 to 3%. We don't know what the neutral rate is in these conditions. You can't do these two things. Either you are honest with the fluidity you face and say there's a whole range of possible outcomes and we will continue to be very vigilant, okay? Or alternatively, you try to fool the market and it doesn't work because the market sees through it quite quickly, as we saw yesterday's reaction.